Hello, Sorcery fans. Josh here. And today the big surprise is that I have created a backdrop for me to actually come on camera. And I'm going to start filming some videos like this. Different from what I've always done in the past, where it's always been a camera down view so that you don't have to look at me because nobody wants to. But in any case, I wanted to do some videos like this just so that I could have some variety and add some things in. And so I created this little backdrop, got the stuff necessary to have a camera in front of me and kind of talk. So big news today was that the Sorcery draft kits were announced, which are very cool. I'm going to add 4 new sites to the mix. Those sites only give threshold and mana, so it's going to make drafting very, very different. Because now all of a sudden, getting a basic village or getting a basic tower is going to matter. So you might actually have to change your drafting strategy. In addition to that, of course, we've got the new avatar, the Spell Slinger, which has clearly been designed for limited formats like like Sealed and Draft. So it's not as high powered as we have seen. And they've also decided that no longer will you be able to use Sorcerer or the 4 beta avatars as part of those limited formats. So going to be very cool to see how that changes up the whole limited side of Sorcery. I suspect that Sorcerer itself, if you happen to open one in the middle of a draft, it's going to be a very tough choice to not take that card just because it is significantly more powerful than most of the avatars. And certainly since you only have access to the Spell Slinger, that's going to be the one that you're really going to probably want to pick it up. But in any case, that was the big news. We got those things. All that, it sounds like, is going to be legal for constructed play as well. So new avatar to add into the mix. I think those sites they said are going to be, usable, though I don't know why you would choose those over a basic, one of the other ordinary sites, not basic, one of the other ordinary sites. Unless maybe you're playing Pathfinder. That would be the only reason I could think. So the big news. And then obviously, I was at the Spring Social way back in June. It was a great time. And I'm getting prepared for Gencon. So if you're coming to Gencon, I'm going to be there. And we can chat, we can talk, whatever. And have a good time. I hope for all of you that are coming out, that you do have a good time. If you've never been to Gen Con, you are in for the experience of a lifetime. The event has completely sold out. They don't do that all the time. It's been more common in the recent years, but I don't think they've had a sellout since the 50th anniversary, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but I think that was the last time we had a true sellout. So it's going to be crowded, so be prepared for that. The good news is all the Sorcery events got moved out into the stadium. There's not as much traffic out there. The one problem is it's a bit of a trek to get out to the stadium. It is connected via a hallway, so you can stay inside the whole time walking from the convention center to the stadium. So that's really good news. I was a little worried when that was announced, but because the folks at Eric's Curioso were able to get that booth in the actual vendor hall, I think it's going to be fine. That was my big worry, was like, oh, they're going to put us all out there. And then we're not going to be able to, people aren't going to be able to experience the game or see the game on the floor. And, the stadium just doesn't get the kind of traffic that the rest of the convention does. So, most people who are going out there, they're going out there because they got a specific event that's out there. They did used to have the board game library out there, but I don't know that a lot of people know about that. So I don't know that they go out there for that. But anyhow, if you're going to be at Gen Con, I will be around. I'll be hanging out at the Sorcery events all day, helping with the Learn to Plays, helping with judging. So that'll be an entertaining time, I think. And then beyond that, we've got Sorcery Con, obviously. That's going to be in November. I am planning to come to that as well. Hope to see all of you there as well. They're putting in a lot of work to get a whole bunch of artists out there. So if you are interested in the art side, you really need to be at Sorcery Con. And obviously, if you're interested in the play side, you really need to go to Sorcery Con. So you don't really have an excuse at this point. Go to Sorcery Con. You might be able to make an excuse for Gencon. There's not the artists other than the artists that are going to be there that Gencon has selected, with the exception, of course, of Melissa Benson. Now, that's going to be a big deal, I think. As far as I know, she doesn't have a regular booth in the arts section of the con, which means that her being at the sorcery booth could be a big deal. It could bring in a lot of new folks who find out that, oh, Melissa Benson's over there at the sorcery booth. So you could see a lot of folks coming over to that booth. So just be ready for that. It may end up being quite a bit of a line. So you may want to get there early on Friday and Saturday when she is scheduled to be there, just so that hopefully you can get signed whatever you want to get signed, or whatever other services she might offer that you might want to access. So, but other than that, that was kind of what I wanted to talk about. I probably will start doing a lot more talk about market stuff and just my feelings of how sorcery is progressing, and if the game, is doing the things I hope it's doing, which is obviously growing. That's all I want for sorcery. I have not played a collectible card game since Innistrad Block in Magic the Gathering. I think that was the last time I played, and that only lasted for a week because I played in an event, and I was like, oh, I remember why I stopped playing this game. So this is, the first card game that I've really gotten involved in a very long time. And I really want to see it succeed because it has all the elements of what I like in a game. I'm a big board game player. I am a big player of tabletop miniature games. So the grid really appeals to me. That strategy of moving your pieces on the board effectively really appeals to me. And I have also always enjoyed card games. I do play a lot of the living card games that Fantasy Flight had developed over the years, and I really enjoyed those. So it's kind of nice to get back to a collectible card game as well. But I'm going to talk about market stuff probably quite a bit, and then how the game is going. And my expectation is that sorcery is going to make it, and that it's going to be unique, and that it's going to be a game where you're going to have periods of great excitement and then lulls because of the release schedule being so much slower than the other games out there. And I think that's good. I think that's very good for a game because it will allow people to get into the game and leave the game and then come back much more easily than so many of the other games out there. I was a big fan of the Star Wars, Decipher Star Wars CCG back in the day. But the problem with that game was it just got huge in terms of the number of cards, the number of sets you wanted to access, and it became very difficult to get new players to join the game because they had to get into this massive card pool. Obviously, Magic, it's the same way now, although there's a lot more playing at home. So I don't know that you're dealing as much with, I've got to get this or that. And certainly you can pick a format. It's not like you're all playing in Vintage, which certainly helps. So I think that's the big thing I really like about, how sorcery is going to go. But I want to continue to talk about that and see if what I'm saying actually comes to pass. Right now, I'm just going to make a real brief market statement. If you're looking to buy, you need to buy. You need to buy now. And the reason is, I think, personally, once we have Gencon and once all those people get to that booth, we're talking about 70,000 folks. They're going to go there for Melissa Benson, and some of them are going to pick this game up. And with the hype of Arthurian Legends coming, it's only going to build from there. So, I thought initially we were going to kind of have a lull until probably September. I don't think that's going to happen now that they've been able to get that booth at Gencon. I think that we're going to see a big influx of new players by mid-August, and then you're going to start to see the prices that have recently been trending down start to trend back up again. Potentially even see some new highs. I especially think that's going to happen once we see Arthurian Legends, is that we're going to see an increase in price. So if you are looking to get into the game, if you're looking to get some key piece or buy some expensive piece of the game, whether it's alpha foils or, alpha alchemy 9 or whatever it is, or even just getting, some play sets of certain cards that you want to have, get them now, because I don't think it's going to get any cheaper in the near term. So that's my recommendation. I hope you guys like this type of video. I hope it goes somewhere. Like I said, I'm just a regular guy, and I'm not looking to turn this into something crazy, but I'm enjoying it, and I hope all of you will come along with me and enjoy the journey. So I'll talk to you later, and you'll see more videos on a more regular basis, because I plan on doing this more often. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch.